I am content creator Joie Garrity. I'm the founder of Superstar Women Entrepreneurs Media Network and Joie G113. I'm dedicated to empowering women entrepreneurs to create a beautiful, personal, and professional lifestyle by spotlighting superstar tools, tips, and resources that gain them ease and grace. Every episode, myself, along with a featured guest, share our Superstar Women Entrepreneurs journey on my globally recognized show, Superstar Women Entrepreneurs Spotlight with Joie. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Superstar Women Entrepreneur Spotlight with Joie Live. I have an amazing guest today. Can't wait to share more about her in just a minute. We've been longtime colleagues. She's also my publisher, and she's also my biz BFF, and we'll talk more about that as we get going this morning. But I just want to talk a little bit more about what the Superstar Women Entrepreneurs live show is all about. It's about work. It's about sharing tips, tools, resources, myself, along with other superstar women on their journey, so that you women entrepreneurs out there, can find more ease and grace in your life. Because I know, as a woman, superstar woman entrepreneur on the journey, I know that it can get a little wonky sometimes, right? And so I wanted to develop a media network where other experts could bring all their expertise, and so be more of like a one-stop shop, right? You could connect all the dots more in one place than having to get a little piece here and a little piece there. A little bit more about me. I am content creator and I'm founder of Superstar Women Entrepreneurs Media Network and Joie G113. You can learn more about me at joieg113.com. You can also find me on social media at at Joie Garrity. So today's topic is one that I love. It's how to repurpose your digital content with Sheila Kennedy. So a little bit about Sheila Kennedy, like I described earlier before. Sheila Kennedy is a publisher and a platform builder who understands the power of using story to grow audience. She is a respected author, speaker, consultant in the nonfiction world. She's that and so much more, let me tell you. And I'm going to bring her up from the green room right now so we can say hello to Miss Sheila and she can share more of her expertise and wisdom with all of us. Hey, Sheila, how are you?
Hey, Joey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for
Good.
saying yes to being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I always love being on your show.
Oh, thank you. I so appreciate that. So I just want us to jump in because I love this topic around repurpose, how to repurpose your digital content out there. And I know you have something coming down the line. We'll just say stay tuned, right? Because you got a lot of digital y'all wait till you see all the digital content she's repurposing and she's going to be sharing with all of you. I'm very excited about it, Sheila. Like I was like, Sheila? As a matter of fact, Sheila's my premier guest on the show. Because,
Well, I'm so honored.
well, you told me about what you were doing. I'm like, okay, well, you've always been a superstar and now with the digital content side of it. So I'm super excited, but I want to share your first SWE Spotlight strategy here. It's about taking the one piece of content and repurposing it to native platforms. Can you elaborate more on that? Because I thought this was such a great strategy.
Sure. So, there's a multitude of social media platforms, right? There's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's, Instagram, there's TikTok, YouTube, all of them, and more. So, but here's the thing: they each want to keep you on their platform. Like they don't want users to be on their platform and then click a link and then get taken somewhere else because that's more time away from their platform. So it's great to make a piece of content and upload it to all of those different places. However, each one of those places is going to have its own nuances, right? They don't like LinkedIn, for instance, doesn't like to push out in their algorithm when you use a link that's native to theirs in your original comments section. So you need to put it in the comments, or just know that not a lot of people are going to see it, that kind of thing. So it's things like that. So it's awesome to use the same content in different places, but make sure that you're using it in a way that the platform will actually like push it out there. You don't want to keep it where it's not going to be seen, because that doesn't do anybody any good.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a paparazzi moment, because what you're really saying is, you're saying to all the superstar women entrepreneurs out there, you're like, be strategic, know thy platform, right? And it's true, they're a business. They're a business that's making cash, right? And so they don't want us to leave. I read an article recently that was mind-blowing, that people are spending between an hour and 6 hours a day on social media. And I was like, wow.
That doesn't surprise me. Now, in what would be more interesting to me, that number doesn't surprise me, but what I'd like to see is, how are people using it? Like, how are they spending their time? Are they just consuming? Are they learning something? Are they interacting? Are they engaging? Are they being trolls? Are they, like, what is it that they're doing on social media? Because I can spend 2 hours a day on social media, but it's not because I'm just mindlessly scrolling. I'm either doing research, or I'm interacting, or I'm answering comments, things like that. So, but the truth is that people are there. So what we do with that information is kind of up to us as digital content creators.
Yeah.
And knowing that there's that many people on, and that's how long they're there, the game has totally changed for content creators, because you can't, no longer is there a time where we can just put out like a cute meme or a little graphic or something like that. Like, we have to have something pretty meaningful, because the marketplace is super, super noisy. And especially, I think, since COVID, we have had to, because so many people only had a virtual life, that we have to be even that much more of a standout in order to get their attention.
Yeah, so I was asked by Wave, the Wave video platform, to be part of with trends for 2023, and this is what I believe. This is just my truth, right? Is Livestream will elevate much like podcasts have over the last couple of years. Big brands will see the value of Livestream and jump on the bandwagon, because again, it's become my belief system is that we're becoming our own little reality stars. So
Yeah,
so,
sure.
right, because people want the unexpected. They want to jump into a slice of life, right? And what better way than doing it on live stream?
Yes.
Right. And I also, with the media content creators that I'm working with, I remind them, I'm like, they want, it's like reality, so don't be perfect.
Right.
Like, make, like, your mistake, don't edit it.
Right.
Keep the mistakes there.
Absolutely. Well, and I think because the importance of perfection has passed us. I think we're beyond that now, and everybody's kind of seeing like, okay, if it's shiny and glowy and perfect, there's probably something wrong with it, right? Like they just, it's something, it's not relatable. It's not something I can connect to. If you're going to sit there and tell me, oh, well, all these things went wrong today, or, even if it was just something silly, like, I don't know, my light didn't work, or my computer didn't want to, work right. I can totally relate to that. Like, that is something that is part of my everyday life. And I'm like, okay, well, if she's willing to be real, or he's willing to be, authentic about that, and put that out there, then I'm a big fan. Right.
Yeah, and I really believe that it will become more of a niche market. In other words, you'll have more of a brand evangelist that just have an emotional connection to you. It's not going to be about, in my opinion, it will not be about quantity anymore. Like, these big numbers, this is like they're just throwing these huge numbers out there, and I'm like, where's the quality? I'm like, how many of those people are really engaging, right? And that's what's really going to matter in the long run. I want to share your SWE Spotlight tip here. Visual cues are a big deal. There are thousands and thousands of pieces of digital content every day. What are you doing to stop the scroll? That's awesome. What are you doing to stop the scroll? And how can people stop the scroll, sister?
Well, sometimes it can be, colors. It can be it can be live streamed, like it is a backdrop that you're using, or something that will be an evocative question, right?
Uh-huh.
Like it doesn't always have to be something visual, but let's face it, visual cues are important in our, social media scrolling. And so, like I have a zebra that is always a part of what I do. You have Paris behind you because that was something that's important to you, right? So that's part of the way that we get to brand. And when somebody sees it, they'll stop the scroll because they want to know what's up.
Yeah, it's like my story about Sunset Boulevard, and you start at Highland and then you end up in Beverly Hills, but all the way down it was just like you saw like the same billboard for the
Mm-hmm.
same movie.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time you got to Beverly Hills and you sat down for your cocktail, what was everyone talking about?
The
Right?
movie.
And they were talking about that movie, and it wasn't, and there was no shame around that billboard being every other street. Like they weren't apologizing for that,
Right.
right? They're like, I'm proud of what I did. I want everyone in the world to go see it. And
Right.
so, to your point, I totally believe in that. I believe in being like really hard hitting with your brand and
Mm-hmm.
your passion. And for me, spotlights and superstars, and for me, spotlights is actually very symbolic. It's more of a spotlight from the divine shining
Mm-hmm.
down because this is our birthright, because we're the children of the divine, right? So sometimes too, with your cues out there, you want to have this more of an underbelly to it where people can learn more and more about it. Because at first, when people first see the zebra,
Mm-hmm.
right, Sheila, I'm not sure what their story was, but with time, because they know your brand, they know the story.
Right. I know.
She gets a lot of zebras for, I'm sure, for your birthday. I'm sure you get endless zebras.
I do. And I get them randomly all the time, right? But I mean, this is a brand that I've been building for 10 years. So
Right.
this isn't something, but when people, see me or they think about me or they see a zebra, they automatically share with me. They think that I am top of their mind whenever they see zebra print. And that's exactly what I set out to do 10 years ago.
Yes.
And it's the name of my company now. It didn't start out that way, but it's the name of my I mean, even this shirt, I know you probably can't see it, but it is embossed with zebra print.
Oh, that's so neat.
Yeah. So like everything, between the jewelry, the all of it, um, it's something that I am known for. Like you say Sheila Kennedy and they'll say, oh, she's the zebra lady. They might not always know the reason behind why I'm the zebra lady, but they do know that they do associate that with me all the time.
Yeah, and so today we're talking about how to repurpose your digital content with Sheila Kennedy. And so Sheila is my publisher, and I uploaded my two books here. The first was the Red Carpet Guide to Visibility Influence, and the second is Being Your Own Superstar: How to Expand Your Love Capacity. But the reason I'm doing it is also because of visual. I want everyone to see. You'll see their spotlights on both. So I have this common thread also with the red and the superstar, the stripe component. There's a lot of layering with inside of my brand that I love to do. And so we do want to encourage you in terms of repurposing your digital content to make sure that that's always sitting there as well.
100%.
Right, sister?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like just go for it.
Well, and think about all the imagery that you've used that relates back to the red carpet or the spotlight, and so when somebody sees that in the marketplace, they're like, oh, it's Joey, and they're thinking about that all the time, right? So, you get equated with the imagery that you continually put out there, so that it becomes like just a fact. Well, Joey and Spotlight and red carpet and Hollywood, that's you. So that's what people think about. So
And
that's one of the ways that we repurpose our digital, content.
it's so true. And also too, another way that I was repurposing my digital content, and I was blogging every week. And so so much of the content that goes into the books is
Mhm.
actually me repurposing the blogs that I'm sharing out there in the marketplace. Of
Absolutely.
course, with putting the new spin on them, but then the content's already sitting there, and so it's another way of repurposing. I love live streaming. It's a great way. You can repurpose live streaming in endless ways out there in the marketplace, right? And it's a great way to spotlight you and your biz
Mhm.
out there, and then take that content and you can repurpose it. You can repurpose it at scrape the audio and becomes your podcast,
Mhm.
right? Scrape the content itself, and then you can have a blog or an article out there.
Mhm.
You can
Mhm.
use it in your signatures, your electronic signatures. But for me, bringing on people like yourself, superstars like yourself, is I love that, because then we get to hear your guys' gems and we get to learn from you all, right? Because it is really all about learning out there.
If we stop learning, we stop growing, right? And
It's so true.
that's not ever a good thing.
And I'm sharing two of Sheila's books here. You Had It All Along, and then Choices to Changes, right?
Hmm.
So tell us a little bit about these books, because I'm in one of them, which was
You
an
are in one of them.
spotlight.
Yes, it is a spotlight. So You Had It All Along came out 10 years ago in December. I can't even believe that. And or will be 10 years in December. And it was my first solo book, and it was really just a way to repurpose. Um, it was a digital book that I was giving to my clients. And that was something I turned into a book and published that. And that was started my foray into it, and that was super fun. And I got to do lots of things like that became repurposed, right? Like that was, even though it was a physical product, it started as a digital product. And then I got to do book clubs. I did special book clubs with different MLMs actually,
Oh, that's
on
cool.
how to build their business using this as the model to be able to do that. And that created a huge audience that I never would have, been able to capture if I had just stayed in my little social media circle. But I reached out, and that was one of the ways that I wanted to repurpose that so that I could get the word out to more people. Um, as far as Choices to Changes is concerned, I really took a lot of the things that I had learned from the first book and put them into the second book. But I wanted to get some expert opinions and testimony, if you will. So I spotlighted 12 other entrepreneurs that were, at the top of their game. And I wanted to know what was their kind of secret to success. And so we put that all together. Joey was happily one of them. Um, and we put all of that together, or I put all of that together. And I needed money to publish the book. And I didn't know how, I didn't really want to take out a loan or crowdsource or whatever. And, publishing is not free, unfortunately, for most of us, unless
True.
um, and so I decided that I was going to take all of the principles that the 12 of you had shared with me, and I was going to, because these were the secret to success, right? Like y'all were achieving success. I wanted to have more of that. So I was going to employ all of these, strategies or practices for 60 days. And if in 60 days my situation turned around, then it was going to prove the fact that these were indeed practices of confident entrepreneurs. And we were going to do all of the things that, all the things that you shared with me were absolutely true and worthy. And sure enough, 60 days later, I had tripled my income, and I had gotten speaking engagements, and I had been attracting my, real ideal clients. And so y'all were right, spot on. And so I shared all of those things in the book. And so
It really is incredible what you did, because I was like, wow. She took all basically she takes all the gems in the book, and she also has something called the Daily Magnet, what I still use daily.
yeah.
I love it. It's how to magnetize more money, actually, because it
Mhm.
just gets you in the right headspace. But she takes everyone's info, and then she like blows up her brand, raises the capital, and then like you were like everywhere. I was like, this is so cool. Actually, your spotlight got so bright, right? that I was like, this is interesting because Sheila has some pretty famous people in this book, right? I was like, Sheila's fame's going through the roof. I was like, yes, sister.
It
I
was
was
fun. It was
I
fun.
was so proud of you,
Thank
and
you.
this just rolls right into about. I want to talk about a tip that I share I have around shine a brighter spotlight on you and your biz with Joey. People support those that support them. Make it a point to spotlight other company brands in your circle and beyond,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I think that is such a simple strategy,
I
right?
know.
I learned that in Hollywood. Like they spotlighted our names in the crawl at the end of a movie, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yet I still see people reluctant to do this. I don't understand. I'm like, spotlight other people. Sheila spotlighted all
Yeah.
these entrepreneurs and kaboom.
Hmm. Well, I think that part of that is our fear of lack and scarcity, and that there's not enough to go around, which is absolutely never true. Um, and I don't speak in absolutes very often, but that is absolutely true. And when we spotlight other people, we are saying that we believe in abundance
Yes.
because we're sharing, our spotlight with somebody else, and that means that there's more than enough for both of us to go around.
Yeah.
um, and people couldn't handle all of the business, if you will, that came to them if they were the only one that provided the service. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, there's no way you can
Good point.
handle all of the work that is out there to be had, right?
Right.
So let's work together. Let's shine, a spotlight on other people so that we get to share in their success as well. Um, yeah, I'm a big fan of making sure that other people are get the shout out.
I agree, and
Mhm.
I agree, and it creates so much trust in the marketplace because they know that you got their back,
Right,
right?
right.
Um, and I agree about the lack too. I find I have a quote that I love. There's enough spotlight to go around. There's plenty of spotlight to go around.
Yes.
Anyone that's listening to this right now, who can you spotlight today? Like, who could you spotlight right now? It is incredible the kind of personal, professional relationships that you will build by
Hmm.
spotlighting other people, where your brand will grow and soar higher and higher and higher from this very simple but powerful and empowering strategy system.
Yes, 100%. And I see it all the time. If you use it, it works to your advantage because
Oh,
it
it
also,
does.
and I don't like, the reason to do it is not necessarily to gain something
No,
for yourself. However, there is a benefit because you're also, all of the people that get to know that person are also going to get to know you, and it shows the marketplace that you are rather selfless, that you are not greedy, that you are willing to share, all of those things. And you're going to open yourself up to audiences that you may not have had access to before. So that's not a bad that's not a bad gig, right?
no,
um,
not at all. And repurposing, and in repurposing, of course, like having the conversation, right,
mhm,
about
mhm.
repurposing other people's content, right, is a great spotlight
Oh yeah.
because then they're in your backyard and you're in their backyard. You
Hmm.
cannot pay for that kind of marketing
No.
because their friends, right,
Hmm.
across the social media channels, right, their friends are like, oh, I don't know Sheila Kennedy yet, but maybe this is someone I should know because they've already emotionally connecting with me, or
Right.
vice versa. And
Yes.
so it's just such a great way of repurposing your content out there. Sheila, yes.
I was going to say one more thing about that is that, I've been putting together, some press kits and things for a client, and she was going to have a sizzle reel done. And I was like, okay, look, that's great and all, but all that tells me is that you have a photographer or a videographer that is going to get you in front of all the people and put all the bells and whistles. I would much rather have you have 5 or 6 links of interviews that you've done on podcasts, on TV,
Yes.
on radio, on things like that, because then people, you get to share that spotlight, or that, and there's social proof built into that, right? Repurposing digital content. So all of you that are like, I don't want to be on podcasts, or I don't really want to spend the time, do that. That's
Right.
much more important to building your platform than just creating some fancy sizzle reel that shows you, and maybe in front of people, but it doesn't show the ability for you to interact with them. And that's super important when
And
I'm
you get
trying
and
to
you
hire
get to, and you
somebody.
get to tag them.
Yes, yes,
Like that's the other part of the repurposing,
right,
right? You take that piece of content, you tag them, and again, it's going to open you up to audiences that don't know your name yet,
right,
right? And
exactly.
you cannot pay for that kind of marketing,
No.
because there's an emotional connection on the other side where they're like, they already like that person, they
Mm-hmm.
already trust that person, or they wouldn't be connected on that level,
Right.
right? I
Yep.
love that way of repurposing.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal, sister. I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, Sheila Kennedy. You're so awesome.
Well, thank you. I love being here. So lots of fun.
I,
And I'm excited about your show.
oh, thank you. And then stay tuned, everyone, because I will be putting down the links in the comment section to Sheila Kennedy's books. You're absolutely going to want to get them. They're phenomenal. I have them. And again, Choices of Changes. There's so many gems and diamonds in there that she literally connected the dots, and then she soared higher and higher and higher. It is a guide. It really is a guidebook, right? And also put the links to my book down there as well. Sheila, I'm going to drop you into the green room and go grab yourself a cappuccino and say hi to the other superstars down there. I love you. I love you. I love
I
you.
will. I love you. Thank you so much.
Isn't she great? She's so cool. Sheila cool. She's awesome. Um, and she's so full of like, she's an integrity girl. Like she does things to be of service, right, out there. So if you don't know this influencer yet, the superstar yet, get to know her. Make sure to join me for another episode of Superstar Women Entrepreneur Spotlight with Joie next Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific Coast Time, 10 a.m. Central Coast Time. And I always leave it like this. I truly, truly believe that it is your birthright to stand in your spotlight and be your own superstar woman entrepreneur, everyone. Until next time, I love you. 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 And I appreciate you.